So I'm visualizing it, and the trunk is almost the idea of having a purpose in itself, having an inclination to have a purpose. And then the different rings in the trunk are the specific purposes throughout your life as they
Which then lend
change.
themselves to these branches, which is how do I behave and how do I feel? What are my emotions? Can I manage my emotions? Now, we know from a neuroscience perspective that this is all going on in different regions of the brain. We literally put people in MRI, magnetic resonance imaging. We have them think about their purposeful core values or things like their daily routine, as a control condition. And we look at different parts of the brain that get more oxygenated blood flow. So they kind of light up. You've seen these images of
Yeah.
brains and some parts are lighting up. We can look at different regions that light up if we scare a person or if we have a person think about their purpose. And we find that when we ask people to think more about their purpose, it's a very modern part of our brain, a very human part called the ventral medial prefrontal cortex. It gets much more blood flow right behind our eyebrows, about half an inch in. And we have 3 times more of this space than, chimpanzees, monkeys, much more than any other animal. And when that gets more active, it actually tends to govern down activation in our amygdala, which is our fear center. And that's a very ancient part of the brain.
Hmm.
Dinosaurs had it. We often call it the reptile brain, but that's the part of the brain that gets really upset fast or, wants to lash out or gets very scared and frightened and can hijack our brain. And when this part of the brain, this prefrontal cortex, is very active when we're thinking about purpose, we're far less susceptible to getting scared over time. Everyone gets scared and should get scared, in the immediate sense. If somebody's running at you with a knife or you get cut off by a car or whatever, and, that's important to get scared. At the same time, you want to then say, what do I do about it? Like right away, rather than just, being hijacked by the fear.
Well, and in your wallflower example and your middle school example of dancing
Yeah.
like a beast on the dance floor, which by the way, everyone was wishing they were you. But if
Yeah.
that dance is your purpose, to use the analogy,
Yeah.
it seems like the fear in your mind of worrying about other people is lessened, reduced, or goes away. So you can actually dance, your strong dance, and there's less fear, which is something I just learned with you saying that. Is that fair to say?
Totally fair to say, 100%. And so we're just talking about some of the reasons why having a purpose is really, really good for you.
Well, and why, if you don't have a purpose and you're just responding to your boss and you're chasing pleasures and monetary rewards or other rewards, you get scared because you're
Yeah.
not. I, I always attributed that to losing what you wanted. And maybe
Yeah.
that's a piece of it.
Very much. You mentioned money, and, people certainly need money to live. They need money to be satisfied, to achieve certain goals in their life. So I don't want to discount money. At the same time, I work a lot with people who are very, very well off, billionaires and people. I've been to the Rockefeller estate, meeting with a Rockefeller family in the past, and worked with other people who just have very high net worth. And not everybody is very happy you'd think, oh, poor billionaire, why should I care about you? And maybe we shouldn't, but it always amazes me that all the money in the world does not seem to make a person happy. In fact, very often their kids don't talk to them and their wife hates them. And, there's just, they encounter all sorts of things. The other thing about having a lot of money is they may go out and have an amazing dinner, and then they'll have another amazing dinner the next night, then another amazing dinner. And people start then whining about that asparagus wasn't done all that well. Oh no, the
Yeah.
chef must be off tonight. Things like that. You're going, what? You are eating amazing food.
Yeah.
Um, so
That
it's
Chateauneuf de Pop wasn't chilled to the perfect
not
temperature.
quite right. Yeah, that golf
Yeah.
course we just played,